Welcome everyone to episode 11 of Pod on the Apex. It's been 11 episodes, Aniket. This is our 11th episode. 11. We are in double digits firmly now. How does it feel?
Yep, I think it feels good that we are able to cover the season or have been able to cover the season from the start up to now. We've seen a lot of exciting races, we've also seen a lot of boring races,
Yep.
and we've been here to cover them all. So we hope we can continue doing that towards the or throughout the season and also hope for a very good championship battle so we have a lot to talk in our future episodes as well.
Yeah, totally. And if you are watching this on YouTube or on Twitch, wherever, and leave a comment below to say what you liked about a podcast and what you can do better. Episode 11. And guess who was P11 in Bahrain? Kimi Antonelli, Rookie of the Year. So this is the podcast of the year. There you go. All right, so let's talk about Bahrain Grand Prix. Let's start off our podcast today with the Bahrain Grand Prix. Um, McLaren won three, Piastri first, Lando Norris in second. As expected, a very dominant race for McLaren. Norris made up pretty much whatever he lost in qualifying. Uh, as we expected, a bad qualifying wouldn't deter
Yep.
either McLaren from a bad race finishing position. As we saw Lando storm to the field, he had a great start. Lando always seems to have a good start when he's not P1 on the starting grid. He had a great start, stormed, made up a lot of places, and was very close to overtaking George Russell at the end. But George, of course, put in a magnificent performance to finish P2. So, yeah, Aniket, what do you think of the top three?
Yeah, I think we should talk about Lando first, right?
Hmm.
Obviously, a very bad qualifying P6. He should have never been there. A lot of mistakes on his lap, and it cost him positions on the grid. And then when he actually got to the grid, he had a false start. We saw him, moving up before the lights even went off, and I thought he felt that maybe he's short of the line, the white line, and he just wanted to
No,
move
I
up.
think he was ahead of the line. That was a false start first. He
Yeah,
was ahead of the grid box.
I meant like, I think he had an inner feeling that, maybe he's short of the line. So he
Hmm.
tried to accelerate and instead went way above the line.
Yeah.
And instead of, being inside the limits, he went over it.
And we had
And
Inspector Max checking him.
Inspector Max was, always looking towards the right. It was very funny. As soon as Lando went ahead, he was on his
On
radio,
the radio.
the skit about him. But yeah, that's another mistake from Lando. Not, I would say this race proved that Lando does not have the best racecraft in him yet, because of these silly mistakes he's been doing. Because of that, he got a 5 second penalty, and that cost him time during his pit stop as well.
Yeah.
And he did, as you said, make up all these positions, and because the McLaren is the fastest car on the grid, and nobody's touching that car at this point,
Yeah, if not
and
for the 5 second penalty, it would have been easy McLaren 1 2. Nobody was touching them.
very easy.
Yeah.
And because of that, obviously, he fell down to third, and then in the last few laps, he couldn't get past George. He had an attempt, he had a couple of attempts, but in Bahrain, we know that you don't have many attempts except for the first and the second. I would say the first and the fourth corners. So it's basically like, he tried his best to get George on that final
Hmm.
lap, but he went deep into turn one, and then he couldn't get the perfect line to attack into turn four.
Yeah. Hmm.
So that's what happened, and he stayed third. Still a good result considering he started sixth, but it was supposed to be a McLaren 1-2 like we had predicted on our pre-show, but ended up being a 1-3 instead because there was a guy who's who should be called the tire whisperer, right? He finished second. He did a 24 lap stint on soft tires
Oh,
to finish the
yes.
race.
Hmm.
An
So
audacious,
good.
an
Audacious.
audacious
Yes.
move which he said himself,
Yeah.
and we thought it was never going to work out. We had our own group chat. We were just discussing when the softs are going to fall, when the softs are going to degrade. But apart from him losing time to Oscar, he never lost that much of time that the softs were that bad.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it did prove to be the right decision for Mercedes not to put George on the hards, instead put on the soft. And then the start made all the difference because Charles Leclerc started P2 and then he lost two positions at the start, and George, gained that position back which he lost.
Yeah.
uh, due to the grid penalty in qualifying. So good finish from George throughout the race. I would say good race from George and good finish in the end as well. And he's
Yeah.
looking
So,
like one of the most
mm,
consistent drivers in this championship, right?
yeah, exactly. And yeah, and I want to talk about George as well. So as you see in the past few races and even stretching back to last season, George has been very, very consistent. His tendency to make mistakes in crunch situations has kind of he has basically stamped out. Remember which race was it, Aniket? I think last year when he just went into the wall when he was chasing P2. Was that Vegas or
I
the
think
year
that was
before?
2023 Singapore.
Yeah, yeah, right, correct. He was I think chasing P2 or and just he just bins it into the wall and
Yeah.
that started a lot of George Russell memes um, of him not being mentally strong or whatever. I think it's landed on this now, but whatever. That's a different can of worms. But George Russell has shown that he can, lead that team. And I personally feel this is George Russell's, breakout season. Not breakout. I mean, he's not a rookie anymore.
I know,
But
but
you know,
with the pressure he was supposed to have after Lewis left,
yeah,
and also like with a rookie teammate as well.
yeah,
Some people actually had thought Kimi would be better than George for some reason. When us, we definitely didn't agree to that. But he has stepped up massively.
yeah.
He's P2 in the championship, I guess, right now, or P3. Sorry, he's P3 in the
P3, yeah.
championship,
He's always on the
or
podium.
or somewhere in the top four. I think I'm not sure if he's ahead of
Sorry,
Max.
he's
I'm not
P4.
sure.
He's P4.
Yeah, so
The Papaya are
he's
P1
riding
and 2.
there with the contenders,
Yeah.
and I would say that he's in a title shot if Mercedes, does have the car which they showed they have in Bahrain.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
as we were just talking off air, Mercedes now have a very stable car from the onboards. At least it looked like none of the two cars had any oversteer or steering problems. They looked very grippy. Especially on even on Kimi's side, he was able to overtake Verstappen with such ease, and he made a lot more overtakes as well. So Mercedes finally looks like they have a stable car right now, and also it does seem that George is going to get rewarded with a new contract, new 2 year contract up to 2028. That's what the rumors are coming out. So
Okay.
we'll see when that's made official.
Hmm.
But well deserved podium from George. And obviously, nobody could touch Mr. Piastri, or
Yeah.
we should call him the new Iceman because he's always able to keep his cool these
Yep.
days. And to
Yeah.
say
Coming.
Oscar Piastri is
Hmm.
not the favorite in the championship fight right now is an understatement because he's doing everything right at this point.
Yeah. So that was going to be my next question to you. The Papaya Boys, Lando and Oscar. I know it's still too early. It's only race 4. But Lando won the first race in Melbourne, and now Oscar has won Shanghai. No, he didn't win Shanghai.
He did. Oscar won Shanghai.
Sorry, yeah, he won. Oh yeah, sorry, Max won the third race.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Oscar won Shanghai, and now he has won Sakhir, and we had Max in Suzuka. And we all know, first race, challenging conditions. Both the Papaya cars went off track, but Oscar had a bigger slide into the grass. Like to be
Yeah.
fair, both cars slid off at that corner. Just that Oscar had a bigger slide and he lost places. If that had not happened, Oscar would be P1 today. I know ifs and buts and all that. Lando is ahead of 3. He is the championship leader on merit as of today. But looking at recent form and looking at Lando's struggles with the car, we talked about in Suzuka. When Max took pole, Lando said this is the best I could do, but we knew could see Oscars, leaving 3 tenths on the table because of his error in sector 1. He made no mistakes in Bahrain, and we saw a
Yep.
dominant pole position from him. So my question to you, may be rhetorical, but is that A, is Oscar the favorite to win the championship this year? And B, did Lando blow his best chance at winning a title last year?
Uh, no, I think for the first question, Oscar is the favorite right now because of the performances he's showing and because of the mistakes Lando is doing. So, so I think for now, Oscar you can say is the favorite, a slight favorite over Lando. But it's regarding the second question, did Lando blow his best chance? I think no. I think this year is the best chance because I don't think Red Bull are going to be there or thereabouts
No, the
for
reason
this
I say
season.
best chance is because it looks like this year Oscar is ahead of him or
I
will be ahead
understand,
of him.
but but Lando and Oscar at this point I feel are very evenly matched still. It's just that Lando is making those stupid mistakes which he
Hmm.
can certainly avoid. And if he does that, then it's just the champion. It's going to be a championship battle between those two at the front,
Yeah,
and nobody's going to come close.
yeah. I
But
think that
Lando is
is a
giving
certainty now.
opportunities to
Nobody's coming
others.
close.
Other, it's unfortunate Lando is giving opportunities, or fortunate for the fans watching. At least we have
Hmm.
something going on in the race. But if Lando does not make any mistakes, we are going to have a straight head-to-head battle between the papayas. And that's what some of us want because we want something like a 2014 when Rosberg and Hamilton had all those extremely amazing, on-track battles. And that's
2016.
something
2016.
2014 and 2016 both. But on one we had in 2014 Bahrain as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. 16 had way more drama though.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? We've not seen that yet. We've seen either Oscar go off here and there. We've seen Lando make quite a lot of mistakes and try to recover them. So maybe Jeddah is the track where they finally get their shit together and
Hmm.
in terms of Lando and Oscar have a proper on-track battle which includes strategy as well. So we'll see that happens. But I don't think Lando has blown his chance. It's too early in the season. He had his chance last year. I wouldn't say his best chance, but now is his best chance definitely
Okay.
because he's the undisputed team leader, and if he does lose out to Oscar in a championship fight, then that means the next few years in McLaren is going to be a tough walk for him.
Yeah, I mean, next season is it's basically a regulation reset, so anybody can come on top.
Yeah.
Mercedes are very confident about their engine. Ferrari is always confident for some reason. I don't know why. Aston Martin has Adrian Newey. You don't know what's happening next season. Audi is coming as a total complete shake of their team. So next season is complete unknown. So yeah, I think Lando Norris. Yeah, this season is probably his best chance in a while to win the title. Because another thing is, this is what Oscar's second season, right?
Third season.
Third. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oscar
Third
can.
season. Third season is McLaren.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he didn't race for any other team before.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could say in Alpine you were there for a day.
Yeah, but so Oscar is still, early in his career and he's already going toe to toe with Lando, right? And Lando is, I mean, not a vet, but he's been there for a while. So obviously his rate of improvement is not going to be, say, as dramatic as Oscar can, still do. So, I don't know. It just feels to me that if Oscar continues on this, trajectory, he'll probably have a better shout than Lando. Like let's say next season Lando is, you know, sorry, next season not Lando. Next season McLaren is a dominant team. You might just see Oscar be the clear number one on the trajectory he is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And McLaren, despite using Mercedes customer engines, are so fast. So it's like a new dawn in F1, right?
yeah,
We were like talking about how customer engine teams cannot ever win a championship. We saw that McLaren won the constructor last year and they're dominating this season.
mm,
So it's just encouragement to other teams also that you don't need a good engine
yeah,
only. You need like
mm,
your aerodynamic performance, your whatever like vehicular dynamics, everything to be on point, and then you'll have a car like McLaren who are like just dominating right now.
yeah, totally. Let's move on to Ferrari. A very, very, I think, I don't know how to put this. I think it's a race of what ifs for Ferrari. They started on the mediums, so they went in a different strategy to all the others. Most of the field started on softs. Both the Scarlet cars started on mediums to do a longer stint, and then I think the original plan was to do a one stop, go from the mediums onto the hards, and then just go to the end of the race and because everybody else was pretty much on two stops. Like if you start on
Yeah.
softs, there's no way you're doing a one stop. It was a two stopper for them. So Ferrari felt, they'll just do a two stop, go to the end of the race, and just kind of make up track position, maybe even come podium or even win potentially. They're not that far off behind, lap by lap. And then they see Max Verstappen was the first to ditch his soft tires very, very early. I mean, I'm on the top runners.
Yeah.
There were, I think, a couple of drivers who ditched their softs before him, but Max was one of the top runners, earliest guy to dump his soft for hards, and he was terrible on those tires. And then Ferrari see that, and to their credit, I know we make fun of the strategy a lot, but to their credit, they reacted well. And when the mediums started going off, they put the drivers on another set of mediums. And at that point, it felt like they'll go medium, medium, soft,
Yeah.
right? The entire and the rest will go probably soft, medium, medium, or soft, medium, hard, or some anything of that combination. And Ferrari still felt they had a good chance to to go in the podium places or even potentially
Yeah.
win the race. And they were putting in great times on that second stint as well. After they changed tires too, we saw Lewis Hamilton the fastest man on track at one point, Charles Leclerc the fastest man on track at one point. Because also at that point, if you remember, Aniket, because they started a second stint so much later than the other teams, than the other top runners, their tires were very fresh
Very
compared
fresh,
to
and it made such a huge advantage.
exactly, and they were really killing it on track. And then what happened?
Then safety car happened.
Yeah, and why did that happen? Oh my god.
Because of debris on the track,
Yeah, yeah,
and then Ferrari lost their minds. They they had the right strategy for like 20 laps, and
yeah.
then they lost their minds. They thought, oh, okay, let's go back to the hard tire for the last stint.
Yeah, I think, you know, like George said, that soft tire choice was audacious because if you look in the opening stint, the tires were going off for some cars in barely 10 laps,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So obviously, it was a big toss up. And I'm pretty sure if, Ferrari couldn't win. If Ferrari took those softs and those tires went off, we would be trolling Ferrari right now for being
yes.
such an idiot and putting softs on. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but I think they had data from Red Bull on the hard tires, so I'm very surprised that they did still took the gamble on hard tires instead.
I
And because I
mm,
think there were other teams also tried to put the hard tires and it was not working well in the initial
yeah,
part.
it wasn't, but I think Ferrari felt forced to pit at that point, more than
Yeah.
hards, because the safety car came. Oscar was right close, very close to the pit lane, and he just dove in. And once
Yes.
Oscar dove in, everybody started diving into the
Yeah,
pits.
it's pretty obvious. You shouldn't leave your cars out at that time, obviously, because the other cars would have fresher
Exactly.
tires.
Yeah.
So no way
So
they're gonna leave them out.
yeah,
So, but still a little strange that I've a little strange that they put them on the hards though, despite not doing that on the first when they came for the first pit stop. So
mhm.
that lost any momentum they had and they just went backwards after that.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate because they were challenging for the podium spots, even for the win possibly. But that hard tire, what a waste of a tire. I mean, why did Pirelli even get that tire for the race? I don't understand.
they need to have three compounds, and the softs were
Yeah, but they
clearly.
had one compound which did nothing.
And don't they have a super hard tire as
How
well
could
this year?
every team not fire that tire up? It's like strange. I mean, I can understand if some teams are not able to, but every team,
Yeah,
none
pretty
of them
much
could fire
everybody
it
had
up.
problems with that tire.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, just
So
Pirelli
what
things
should have
will.
been a 3 and 4 probably became a 4 and 5, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I think they could have taken they could have taken George if
yeah.
they were on the right strategy. But yeah,
Yeah, I think Ferrari probably will take that as a race of what ifs. What if they were better,
yeah.
or if the safety car came at a better time, right? Like if the safety
What if the
car even
safety
came like
car
say
did not
5 laps
come?
later,
What if the safety car did not come? What do you think Ferrari would have done?
I think they would run a little longer stint and then go for softs,
Maybe.
and they would be quick in the
Yeah.
last ending stages of the race because
So when did the safety car come? Like around lap 35 or something?
no, a bit earlier, I think 31, because there were about 28 laps left. The safety car ran for 4 laps, and there was 24 laps of racing left.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
think something like
Lap
31,
31,
32,
32.
something, I don't know,
So I
something around
mean,
that.
Ferrari could have gone at least 5, 6 7 more laps on that medium
Easily, they
tire.
were still putting in good
Yeah,
times. I mean, the tires were starting to go off a bit, like they're not, setting the track
yeah,
alight, but they were keeping up with everyone around them, and also people around them in much older tires, so they were still
correct.
faster. And
And they
like,
were going to go longer than them because the others
yeah,
would pit sooner.
yeah, and like just imagine, they do maybe I don't know 10 more laps on those tires, and then you have what 18 laps left, and then you put softs. Your car is light. There's
Yeah,
barely any fuel because you have used up like 75% of the fuel for the race.
correct. Less for pressure on the tires as well.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, maybe other teams would also have gone to softs at a point. We don't know. But yeah, like I said, what ifs, right?
What if? Yep, that
Because,
was
I mean,
Bahrain, I
also, the
guess.
other teams would have pitted earlier. Yeah, I forgot to say that. The other teams would have pitted earlier than them.
They would have, that's what,
So
yeah.
they would have probably gone to the mediums. Maybe George would still have taken the softs, but the other cars are probably
Yeah,
going on
I mean,
mediums.
McLaren would have probably still taken the mediums,
Exactly.
obviously.
Yeah, there's too much. There's too much of racing left at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is pretty much the only positive as a Ferrari fan from the race. They had good strategy for the first time. Man, I can't believe I'm
Yeah.
saying that. But
And they had good speed as well, so that was also,
yeah, they had good speed. They actually adjusted a strategy mid race, to go from a one
yes.
stopper to two stopper, looking at other people struggling on those hards, and then they were forced to go on the hards anyway, because we have the weird rule that you have to use two tire compounds in a race. I think if that rule was not there, they just slapped on another pair of mediums and just taken it to the end of the race probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Before we wrap up Bahrain, I think the Red Bull is not looking good at all. P6 for Max, I think a shocker of a race for him. He
A lot
could,
of issues in the race.
yeah, and we'll come to the other issues in a bit, but even otherwise, the Red Bull didn't look that fast at
Yeah.
all.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, he
After the
was,
highs of Japan, it was truly the lows in Bahrain.
yeah, um, yeah. I mean, to be fair though, I think Max did what 3 pit stops. I think
Yeah. No, he did two.
hit two. Okay.
Yeah. He didn't pit during the safety car period, so
Ah,
he
right,
did two.
right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, dude, double points for Haas and Alpine in P7. Like,
Yeah.
amazing
Fantastic
performance.
races from those teams. Alpine looked
Especially
fast
Alpine.
over the weekend. For some reason, they looked too fast.
Yeah.
I don't know what that car had,
What is
but Gasly
Flavio
looked too
doing,
fast.
man?
I don't know where they shot into the top 10 from. Like, I was like, Gasly is going like P3, P4, like every session. I'm like, what is happening? Yeah, I mean, crazy stuff. But Haas as well, and special shout out to Ollie Behrman, finishing in the top 10 from 20th
The best
position.
rookie of the race.
Rookie of the race for sure. I had predicted Jack Doohan, who was in the points, and then his tire started to fall off and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
became P15. But yeah, Ollie Behrman deserved rookie of the race.
But, talking about Alpine, Pierre Gasly was P5 in quali.
He was.
Yeah, so what happened to where did the car come from?
I have no idea. I don't know what they did to the car. I seriously don't have any idea.
Yeah,
They were not expected to be that high.
yep. But yeah, like you said, a great result from Haas as well. I think Ollie Behrman, not just rookie of the race, but even pretty much, I think, I know DOTD went to Lewis, but I think I would say Ollie deserved it. P20 to P10 in that
Hmm.
race, pretty good, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. When we all thought he's going to be out of the points, gets in the points in P10.
Yeah.
So again, like, Ollie is showing a lot of maturity already this season.
Hmm. Okay, so yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the runners. But yeah, let's talk about some of the issues at Bahrain. It was a terrible weekend. Sorry, a terrible race. If you keep you know the racing aside. So we had two things, right? One was obviously all the technical issues,
Yeah.
and what is the other one we wanted to talk about? Technical issues,
The Red
and
Bull pit stops.
no, that was still a technical issue though. I forget. But anyways, oh yeah, race direction. We'll talk about race direction
Race
separately.
direction.
Yeah, yeah. But let's talk about all the technical issues that was that were plaguing the race, we saw a whole bunch of them. George Russell's transponder went off, and not just George Russell's transponder, but everyone was having DRS issues.
Yep.
Teams were pretty much telling their drivers when to turn on DRS. We had we had the pit stop issues. Red Bull was affected a lot by that. Their uh, the green light wouldn't come on to tell the driver it's safe to drive off, right? Um, just to kind of refresh our viewers' memory. Previously in F1, you had a guy holding, what is that? That long pole,
Lollipop. Oh,
the
we should get
lollipop.
that back. I miss it now.
Yeah, they had yes, lollipop. Yes, so you had a guy in the pit crew. Literally, all his job was to just hold the lollipop in front, and then
And
he would
turn it
lift it.
around.
Yeah. Oh yes, turn it around. Right.
Turn it around, then lift it.
Yes, turn it around and then lift
It
it.
said it said first gear and then he lifts it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then F1 moved to this automated system saying, we'll get faster pit stops. And sure, we did get faster pit stops, right? 2.2 seconds, ridiculous. But it was not working this well this weekend for Red Bull at all.
Yeah.
We saw Max's, both his pit stops got ruined. We saw Yuki Tsunoda's pit stop got ruined. So yeah, whole bunch of technical issues. Yeah, let me show the stream this what we saw during the race. This was absolutely hilarious. Do you remember George Russell in the desert, Aniket?
Yeah, I remember him going out of position up and down the charts, and that's what he was there somewhere.
Hold on.
So
Let me share this to screen. Give me 1 second, guys.
when George basically went from P2 to P20 and back to P2, back to P20 about 4 to 5 times
Yeah,
throughout the race.
we had all that
And then,
kerfuffle. We saw George Russell suddenly falling down the timing charts, and
yeah, I was like, does he have a problem? Does George have a problem? What's happening? And then I saw he's still P2. What is happening? And
yeah,
then
and
we saw that
Crofty's
the
like, hey
timing,
guys, don't worry, George is still
yeah.
P2.
And then we saw the timing screens entirely go off. So we didn't know the gaps at that point.
Yeah, and I remember they were putting these manual charts in the bottom right periodically.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah,
I was
also
like,
at one point they said replay when it was not a replay, it was live.
exactly.
And of course, you remember this, right, Aniket? Russell somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Um,
Yeah, this is when his transponder stopped working and he was just being shown out of the screen.
yeah, just hilarious technical issues throughout the race, especially for George.
Yeah. And the cherry on top of the cake was the guy winning the race was not even shown on the main screen when he
Yes,
won
yes.
the
So
race.
yeah, let's
He
let's
was-
let's talk about
Yeah,
the technical issue, not tech, sorry, race direction issues. See, yes, Aniket, like you're saying, the guy winning the race was shown in picture in picture, and there were many other such instances when, you know, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, let's
I mean,
let's talk let's talk about the race direction issues. Like you were saying, Oscar Piastri was shown in picture when he was crossing the line.
yeah.
And there are also so many other instances during the race when, there is some overtake happening, Crofty goes excited, but something else is coming up on screen.
Yeah, yeah, that always happens. I mean, we also saw that Lewis overtaking Lando, and then what happens was Crofty gets excited, but they don't. They basically show the entire grid forming up behind him, and behind Lewis basically coming down to turn one. But after a few minutes is when they actually show the Lewis overtake
Yeah.
on Lando. So, and then we also saw that. I mean, as we were discussing, Oscar getting off, getting not getting any TV time while he won the race.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at that time, what was being shown is the battle between Lando and George, which wasn't a battle by then because George had already he pulled off a gap. So there was no reason for that. There was no reason for that battle still to be shown, basically, and they still showed it, and that's what made the Oscar Piastri winning moment become a picture in picture. So ideally, what should have happened is they should have just switched to Oscar winning and shown at the background that Lando and George are still fighting for P2. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Horrible weekend for race direction. And we see this so many times happen in the past. This is a sport that pulls in hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. Can we get a good TV stream to watch for God's sake?
I felt that we were getting a lot more TV direction or proper TV direction back in 2000s
Yeah.
when we had so much of racing and so much of entertainment in the races. But now it's just that with the digital advancement and all that, we feel that we've taken some small things for granted, and that's what TV direction has also taken for granted. That even a winning moment is not being shown in its truest capacity. So definitely a lot for Liberty Media to go back and revisit, especially from this race. And as you said, it's been a few races like this now, going back till a few seasons ago, when the direction has not been proper in certain races.
Agree.
So a lot to improve upon for sure.
Yeah, I think the
And
FIA.
firstly,
Sorry, yeah.
I never liked the sideways angle when they show the start of the race.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically shown sideways and the lights go off, and then they switch to a proper front. I'm like, you don't need to do that. Just show right from the top or however you want it from the front. I don't understand the sideways angle.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like you said, the FIA really need the FIA, F1, FOM. There's so many organizations running the sport, but
Yeah.
whoever is responsible for this needs to take a really long, hard look at what race directors are doing. Because again, this was not Monaco. So whenever stuff happens in Monaco, they excuse, oh, Monaco runs their own race direction. This is not the FIA or FOM or whatever. All right, that's a different discussion. Why Monaco gets to do their own thing separately. But this was not Monaco. This was Bahrain, and this is clearly in the F1, FIA, FOM. Who the hell runs this thing? It's in their purview, right? So I think the organizations need to cut out the excuses and start fixing this. Um, I think even the beginning of last season we had these issues, right? Timing screens off, or I think
Yeah,
beginning of
yeah.
this season
It's
as
al-
well.
it's always in the beginning of the season we have a lot of these
Yeah,
issues.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I mean F1 needs to test more. Maybe they need to use preseason testing for even TV direction testing. Like,
I agree.
get your house in order, guys.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So I think that's about Bahrain and all the issues that we saw in Bahrain. But yeah, I think okay. Yeah. Sorry, I just remembered one more thing. Do you also think for TV direction we probably need more knowledgeable people or people more interested in the sport,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like again, coming back to showing Oscar picture in picture, how the hell does that happen? That can't be
Yeah,
just a bug.
I think definitely there should be some common sense among people who are actually doing all this, right?
Yeah,
So you never want to not show the guy who's winning the race and rather show a battle which is not even happening. I understand if they're like wheel to wheel, oh, they're gonna crash into each other or something is going on, but you don't show it until something like that is happening.
yeah,
You should always focus on the win of the race, at least in the last corner. They didn't even show him till he crossed the line and that too in picture in picture. So what has been happening over the past few seasons is they would show the winner on the final lap at least. I mean, if he has got like 20-second lead or something.
hmm,
But even that didn't happen this time. So
yeah,
clear lack of judgment or understanding the situation.
yeah. We had the same thing in Suzuka as well. I remember they were showing Charles Leclerc's pit stop when there's some track action happening. I think the only overtake or something of the race was happening, and you're seeing Charles Leclerc pit stop in full detail, close-ups, camera angles, everything. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So we have Jeddah this week, the third race of the triple header. before we have a 2 week break before Imola, right?
Yep.
Imola is next. I mean, sorry, next as in after Saudi.
I think Miami
Oh,
is
sorry,
next.
it's Miami. My bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, so our next race is obviously the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in Jeddah this weekend. Now, let's do let's do the pod on the Apex predictions for the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix in Jeddah. And as always, let's start with qualifying. Who is pole position, Aniket?
Pole position, I would say Lando Norris.
Lando
I think
Norris.
Lando needs to fix some of his mistakes from last race, and I think he's going to try to do that. Uh, Also, Oscar has been better than Lando in the last couple of Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, so Lando might have a chip on his shoulder because of that and because of how close the championship is going to be. So I think Lando fixes some of those mistakes and comes back, gets P1, beats his teammate, and then it's all on the race and how it goes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going with Oscar Piastri. Let the Papaya rivalry begin. But I'm backing Oscar. Like you said, Oscar has been better than Lando at Saudi. Just to kind of as a callback to last year, Oscar finished P4 when the McLaren was not very good that time, if you remember, and Lando was P8 in the race. And similarly in quali, Oscar was at P5, Lando was P6. I think it was, I'm not sure, 2023. I think that time the McLaren were really bad. So doesn't matter what happened in 2023. But yeah, I think I'm going with Oscar. I think Oscar is the man in form right now. Obviously, Lando has a lot to prove,
Yeah,
but I think Oscar is a man in form, and he has beaten Lando in each of the previous two Saudi Arabian Grand Prix that both of them have participated in.
yeah.
Yeah. So my money is on Oscar for pole.
So we're going for a McLaren 1-2 in qualifying, right?
About that,
Or you have somebody else on two?
for quali
Yeah.
front row, yeah, I think we'll see either George or Charles potentially. Yeah, okay. Let me say this: it's probably going to be McLaren 1-2. A front grid lockout for McLaren. I'll not be surprised at all if that happens. I wouldn't be surprised if Lando Norris takes pole. I mean, good car, two great drivers. It's very close. The margins are very very close. But I think if anybody can split the papayas and make a sandwich, it's either George Russell or Charles Leclerc, or maybe even Max Verstappen if Red Bull fixes their issues. I don't think they will because the triple header races are coming thick and fast. You
Yep.
don't really get much time to fix your car. Then Saudi again, very similar conditions to Bahrain. It's
Yep.
hot. It's hot. It's hot. It's dusty
Yeah.
and it's hot. I'll say another time. Yeah, I think probably a McLaren front grid front row lockout, but yeah, maybe Charles or George breaks the Popeyes. What about you?
I mean, I would also break the McLaren lockout in qualifying, and I'll just give it off. I'll just break the McLaren 1-2 in the race as well. But if somebody does it, it'll be I think George because George in such form right now that I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
that and that Mercedes is looking good. It's not the Mercedes from the last year. It's a different Mercedes car this time.
yeah. I
And
agree.
my money is on George if somebody comes close to ruining the Papaya Brigade from getting a 1-2. And I think George will end up P3 in qualifying.
Okay.
So George ends up P3 and we all know if somebody loses, somebody needs to take some advantage of situation. It's George Russell. So if
Oh
the Papayas
yes,
crash into each other,
he's
it's George
always
Russell.
waiting right there.
Yes, he's always been given this opportunities for some reason. So and he's doing very well this season, and he's gonna be coming again after a very positive race. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be George P3 in qualifying. And about the race, as I told you, it's gonna be McLaren 1-2.
Hmm.
And for third spot, I think I'll give it to Charles Leclerc because
Hmm.
Ferrari's race pace has been good.
Yeah.
Uh, recent. I mean, for Charles especially recently,
Hmm.
and I think he's going to continue that good form into Jeddah as well. So maybe Charles pips George to that podium spot.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So for the race, I want to say McLaren 1 2 and, Charles P3. Again, for the same reason, as you said, Ferrari race pace is looking pretty good. I mean, to be fair, even the Mercedes race pace is looking good,
Yeah.
but I think it's going very close. But I'll also do a hot take prediction for the race. I think Oscar is still winning. I think the McLaren is way too strong. But I think we'll see a Ferrari podium of 2 and 3.
Wow. Okay.
Of Charles and
Really?
Lewis. I think I'll still put Charles ahead of Lewis because I think Lewis is still adjusting to the car, even though he won the sprint in Shanghai. But I think he's still adjusting to the car, and Charles had setup issues in that sprint. So I would put Charles ahead of Lewis, and I think you're going to see Oscar P1, Charles Leclerc P2, Lewis Hamilton P3. That's my hot take.
If that happens, then we are going to come here and praise Ferrari's strategy for once because they probably did a good job in that race.
Yeah.
But I won't believe it till I see it.
I mean,
And
that's why it's a hot take. What's your hot take
yeah,
prediction?
I know. My hot take
Either quali
prediction
or race.
is,
It can be any session. So feel free.
my hot take is Kimi Antonelli finishes in the top five.
He's already doing that, isn't he?
He didn't do it last race.
Yeah, but he did it
Uh,
before, right? Fifth or sixth,
he
he
didn't
was.
do it in he didn't do it in China as well, I think, or Japan. Oh, Japan he did, correct. So yeah,
Yeah.
Japan he did.
I need a hotter take, Aniket. That's a
Okay,
cold
scratch
take.
that. Max Verstappen wins the race.
Max Verstappen. Okay, that is a good one.
Yeah, that is a hot take now. He
Okay,
won in Japan, but after last race, it doesn't feel that Red Bull are going to win any other race this
I
season.
agree. Okay.
But
Oh,
I think
any other
Max
race this
always
season? Okay, that's a bit going.
because of McLaren form.
Yeah, yeah,
But Max always does well in Saudi.
yeah.
So
No, that's it.
if somebody can do it, it could be
Hmm.
him. So we'll see. And Helmut Marko has come out again and said that Max will leave in case Red Bull don't improve, which he's kind of doing it now every season. So
Yeah,
yeah, we'll see how they improve from here.
yeah. We'll do a
And
quick one on Max after this. Yeah, there's also some rumors at it, but we'll come to that. Circle back on that. But yeah, just to wrap up predictions.
yeah,
Your bust of the race.
I think I got the bust right last race in Carlos. I mean, despite his damage, but he was still not doing well, I felt.
Uh,
So my bust of the race goes to mm, Fernando Alonso again.
hey, he beat Lance Stroll, man.
He did, but he's gonna be bust again this race.
Yeah. Okay. Fair, fair.
Yeah.
I think for me, the bust would be Liam Lawson.
Okay. How like low can a guy go, right?
I know, I know. I don't know, man. I just honestly, okay. Honestly, I just feel bad for Liam. Uh, he, obviously he didn't adjust to the Red Bulls very well, so he got shunned off to Racing Bulls. But Isaac Hadjar is running circles around him. This guy's racing an F1 car the first time in his life. Liam Lawson raced a few races last season and a couple of races the season before. And yeah, I think Liam Lawson's confidence is completely shot because of all the movements. He got promoted, now he got demoted. So
Yeah.
I think he will struggle for at least another couple of races. It takes time for a driver to get his confidence back. And Saudi is a very unforgiving track. You know,
Yep.
like honestly, I won't be surprised if Liam Lawson bins it into the wall at Saudi. It's a very unforgiving track. I'm not saying he's not
Yeah.
capable of driving a good race or keeping it clean, but there's the amount of pressure that's on Liam Lawson right now. I won't be surprised if he just bins it into the wall in quali race, FP2, whatever. I think we are due
Yeah.
for a Liam Lawson crash.
As long as it sounds, it might be we are due.
Yeah, he needs to get it out of his system. I think he just has a lot of pent up energy
Yeah.
with all the movements around him.
We'll see
Okay.
how it goes. I think that Liam definitely needs a good race, but
Hmm.
as long as the bad race goes away.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What about the rookie of the race?
Uh, I think it's getting down to that three horse race now, right? Between Kimi, Ollie Behrman, and uh, Isaac Hajar.
Yeah.
I think Isaac did not have a very good race last time around,
Hmm.
so I'll give it to Isaac this time. Maybe he has a bounce back this race. So Isaac Hajar for me.
And I think I'm going to steal your prediction from last time. I'm going to go with Jack Doohan.
Oh, okay, okay.
My man
But
needs to keep his seat.
I mean, this is what the fifth race of the season, right?
Yeah.
So this is the race which tells us whether Jack Doon will be in that race seat or not post Saudi and into Miami.
Yeah. Yeah. Will Jack Doohan board that flight to Miami? We'll see.
Yep.
But yeah, I think I'll go with Jack Doohan. I think yeah. I mean, Kimi again will do pretty well. I feel
Yeah.
as
As long as he keeps the tires in check,
yeah,
he'll do well.
strong car, good
Yeah.
racing. I think Kimi will do well. But yeah, I think the reason I'm optimistic about Jack Doohan is seeing what Pierre Gasly did this race. He was
Yeah.
P5 in quali. He finished P8, P7, whatever he did, P6. No, I forget. P7, sorry. But if you look at qualifying, Doohan was P11 and he missed out on Q3 by like 200ths
He
of a
was he
second.
did he didn't miss out. He was doing very well in quali as well.
Yeah, he missed Q3 by 200ths of a second, and he
Yeah.
was like half a second behind Pierre Gasly. So I think Doohan is fast improving, going from crashing your car to barely missing Q3 in what 4 races.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Alpine has pace. The Alpine has pace. I don't know what Flavio is doing
Was
there, what he has put in the water at Enstone.
and it's crazy that they're having this much of pace and they're
Yeah.
going to switch to the best engines on the grid next year. So that means they'll probably do well
Oh my
next
god, I
year.
forgot about that,
Yeah.
man. Alpine next to his Mercedes
If
engines.
it's the floor and the aerodynamic performances doing all this, then with the Mercedes engine they'll be really good.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So before we end, Aniket, do you want to talk about Max Verstappen?
Yeah, I mean the what do you say the bi-weekly Max Verstappen roundup because it's come to
Yes.
that point again. Because Red Bull are not doing well, and we always get these rumors out that as long as Red Bull is going well, that's when Max will that till that time Max will stay, and once Red Bull do not do well, Max has like an exit clause or something. So we saw Helmut Marko come out after the race and say that there is a danger of Max leaving in case Red Bull do not improve the car, and that's what is happening now, right? Japan was all about more about Max in the car. I felt he got every inch out of the car, and that's how they were able to win the race. But we saw that the car is not really good in Bahrain, and we have a picture of that car now in front of us. That's the what is the benchmark of how good the car can be. So
Yeah, honestly, Max can't do that every race. I mean,
he can't, and nobody should be able to do that. It's not a car like a McLaren or even a Mercedes at this point.
yeah.
So I think the rumors are going to fly around if Red Bull does end up coming fifth, sixth every race,
Hmm.
and it's going to keep coming till get to a point where they're again championship contenders. And I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon because McLaren are not going anywhere at least this season, and we all know next season is an open playing field, right? Anyone can win next season.
Yeah.
So it's all about this season now. It's all about how they salvage the car, how they keep Max's pride also, I would say, in check.
Hmm.
But apart from that, at this point, if Mercedes do extend George Russell, then I don't know where Max goes in case he wants to go somewhere. Uh, I mean, I don't think Ferrari is taking Max. I don't think McLaren is taking Max. So I don't see any seat for him at this point. So I think Red Bull do have the best say in his future at this point.
Yeah, they do, but with all the stuff about, I mean, like you said, Helmut Marko can't keep his mouth shut. He's talking about Max having performance clauses. I think I saw rumored, obviously, take it with a bag of salt, but it said that if Max Verstappen is what below P3 in the drivers' championship, he can just walk away.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance he'll be below P3 if the Red Bull struggles continue this season. I mean, obviously, like you said, he can't win Suzuka every race and drag that tractor to victory.
Hmm.
So if Max leaves, okay, let me end with a spicy question. If Max leaves, where is he going next season?
I think Aston Martin.
Really, he's going to Aston Martin? A
I think that's
reunion
where
with
the
Adrian
opportunity is.
Newey?
A reunion with Adrian Newey and Honda engines going to
Ah,
Aston Martin.
I like that.
Because that's where I see his future at this point. If Mercedes do extend George, and they have George and Kimi, Ferrari have Charles and Lewis, McLaren have Lando and Oscar.
Let's
There's
come
no
back to
secret.
Mercedes. Do you think Toto will let him go?
Let who go?
Max. If Max leaves Red Bull. Toto was
Yeah,
openly flirting with Max to the point of,
he was, but George is also doing such a good job right now. So
I
he
know,
wouldn't
but
want to
if you had
lose
to
George.
pick, I mean, they could easily bin Kimi Antonelli for a couple of years and say, you know what,
No, they don't want to do that.
Kimi,
Kimi is already doing
go to
really well.
Williams, go to Williams.
They're not doing that. Williams is no more a feeder team for Mercedes because of James Vowles. So James Vowles strictly said he wants to build his own team then,
Right.
not be reliant on Mercedes drivers. So it's going to be a tough call. I don't think he's going to wait for Max's decision also. He didn't when Kimi Antonelli was available, he just grabbed him. So if George gets extended tomorrow, then I think Toto Wolff does it
Yeah.
and doesn't wait for Max. So either he gets word from somewhere that Max is definitely leaving and he delays the George decision, or he just does the George thing and forgets about Max once and for all.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Yep.
this would be, if Max leaves, Toto's best chance ever at getting Max. And Toto has been fawning over Max so much
Yeah, I
for the
understand.
past season. Yeah, I think we'll
Yep.
definitely see the rumor mills light up again. Will Toto Wolff choose George Russell or Max Verstappen?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be something. Anyways, yeah, we'll see how the Pyrex drama unfolds. There's no shortage of it in F1. I think especially Lewis Hamilton's move last year just kicked off a whole bunch of drama on the paddock, if
Yeah.
with regards to drivers' movements, and also Christian Horner's alleged improprieties.
Hmm.
I think that part of the relationship is also not mended yet. So between Max and Christian and the Red Bull leadership. So yeah, we'll keep you guys and girls posted on that part of how it plays out. But yeah, that's it we have for today. Don't forget to catch the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in Jeddah this weekend. It's a standard weekend again, so no sprints, just the race. So you have quali on Saturday and the race on Sunday. And it is, yeah, yeah, it's at 8 p.m. local time. Wow, that's late.
Yeah, that's like
Oh, it's a night race. Got it.
it's a night race. So yeah, it's like 10:30 Indian Standard
Yep.
Time.
So yeah, enjoy the race. It's going to be a fun one. Saudi, the fastest track on the calendar, the highest average speed. Saudi has thrown up some. It's a new track, but we have seen some memorable instances at
Yep.
Saudi over the last 4 years, and we hopefully get another exciting race like Bahrain. Um, yeah, we need some safety cars. We need some safe crashes. We want the drivers to be safe, but we need some drama on the track and some overtakes, of course.
Yep. And if you have not subscribed to us, do subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on all the streaming platforms, the audio listening platforms, the podcast platforms, and Stay tuned because we're going to do a video very shortly on one of the most memorable Saudi Arabian Grand
Yep.
Prix which we had so far. So stick around for that. And do drop a like on this one. And we are Pod on the Apex. We'll see you very shortly on our next video.
Yep. See you, everybody.